let's look at the negations of the quantified statements for any and there exists. So the example, all school buses are yellow. Now the negation, there's a common mistake. So many students thought we negate the sentence, we put not in a sentence. If they say are yellow, I would say are not yellow, and we keep all, and that would actually be false. So if you look, all school buses yellow, what it means actually every single one is yellow. But if you don't agree, you would mean some of them are yellow and some of them may not be yellow. So the correct answer should be not all school buses yellow. So we should put not in front of all instead of in front of yellow. Well, so when we say not all school buses are yellow, that means there are some yellow school buses and also there are some not yellow school buses. Okay, if we use symbols to describe this, as we've seen before, all school buses yellow, the symbols will be for any school bus, for any school buses, X is yellow. Now when we do negation, how do we say this is the correct? Not all school buses yellow, which means there exists at least one. So this is equivalent to say there is at least one, or there are some school buses that are not yellow. School buses that are not yellow. We translate this to mathematical symbols. So the negation will be, as you can see, there is. So original statement is a universal statement for any, and now we have there exists a or some, you can say a school bus X such that X is not yellow. So two changes here we can see. We change for any to there exist, and we change yellow is to is not. So this is sort of like a formula to negate a universal statement. So change the universal to existential and negate the other the statement about X. So it doesn't matter what it is, we negate it. So if we summarize this formula, it's kind of like, if we have for any kind of X, for any X, there's a statement that is true about X. So I'm going to use P of X to denote the statement about describing X. For example, in this case, X is yellow. And if we do negation of this, we're going to get there exists some X such that the negation of the statement about about X. Okay, so let's look at next example will be the negation of existential. For example, if we say, second example, we have there is a white school bus in our school. First we translate to first we look at the negation. So the negation will not just be there is not a white school bus. So when someone says there is a white school bus, they're just saying, well, there's at least one. It could be more, but there's at least one. So if you say I don't agree, you mean there's not one, which every single one is not white. Okay, so usually to avoid the confusion, we would say every single one is not white. So the negation would be there is not a white school bus in our school. Or you can say there's no white school buses in our school. Well, in other words, we can say none of the school buses are white. Okay, well, so there are many different ways to say that. Well, usually the way we're going to take will be none of the school buses. None of the school buses are white in our school. So in other words, we can say, if we use mathematical symbols to describe it, it's like for any school bus X in our school, it is not white. Okay, so if you want to use this for any or there exists symbol to describe it, and that would be for any school buses X is not white. And if we look at the original statement, the original statement says there exists a school bus in our school. Such that let's call it X is white. Well, and we compare the original statement and the negation. Original statement, there exists, or there is. But now we are, in the negation, we have for any. And the description sentence about X, the statement about X, we negate it not. So if we summarize a formula for our existential statement, the negation will be we change the exists to for any X, and we negate that statement. But notice that usually X has a specified value. For example, in school or in some when X is a real number, so usually it has what we call domain. So we can specify that if you want. So make sure when you if they have that. Well, actually, in the first sentence, all schools, we mean all schools in the world, the whole world. But in this case, in the second example, they specified it's just the school buses in our school. So this domain D kind of tells us which school buses we have to check.